break it down, 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 down. She break it down, 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 down. She got a message for the people, a brilliant mind and a clean soul. She's standing up to the evil and making sure that we all grow strong enough to break these chains we in that keep us in this painful condition. She give us truth and division. That's why we listen. She break it down, 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 down.
Yes, she do. Yes, she do break it down. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Lurie Daniel Favors Show here on Sirius XM's Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. As always, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video so that we can guide the algorithms. And make sure that you go to my website, LurieDanielFavors.com, to sign up for my listserv. Shout out to the almost over 1,000 of you that have already done that. Yes, I appreciate it. But if you go to my website, LurieDanielFavors.com, to sign up for my listserv, you will be among the folks who get notified first when the doors to my online community open up in February. Just remember, on my 5th show anniversary in February of this year, the doors to my Sankofa Connections community, which is, again, kind of similar to Patreon, except that instead of just being there to get more content from me, because y'all already get a lot of content from me, it's really more of an affinity space, a support group, and an education center where everyone who is a part of my fan community will be able to engage, not just on YouTube or on this platform or that platform, but on my platform, which will be a part of the fan community, not just to engage with me, but again, to engage with each other. We got to build community even more intently now, and I'm really excited about that. But requests for the first wave of folks who want to participate in that community, you will be able to begin making your requests known on February the 1st. But the only people who are going to know about that and going to get the link for that directly are the people who will be on my mailing list. They will get priority. And again, from February 1st until the 15th, which is my anniversary date for this show, we will be screening folks who are requesting to join, because it's not for everybody. It's infinity space. So we are going to jealously guard the gates. But if you are on my mailing list this month, that means you will be able to get that link. So go to LurieDanielFavors.com to get on the list. I got to share some news, which I already sort of keyed Urban View into a little while ago. It's pretty sad, even though I'm joyous whenever we have an ancestor who has made their way onto glory at a ripe old age. But Claudette Colvin is now an ancestor. And as I shared with Urban View, I'm a little bit distraught about it. I had her on my list of people that I wanted to interview this year and speak with, because she was still walking this earth. And I felt like it was such a waste to be living at the same time that Claudette Colvin was alive and not engage with her. And so to learn that she had made her transition yesterday, it was heartbreaking. But I celebrate her life and everything that she has contributed to us here on this planet. And I want to share with you some information about her, because there's been a lot of misconceptions about Ancestor Colvin. Not just misconceptions about her and the Montgomery bus boycott, but the roles that she and people like Rosa Parks and other Black women played in the bus boycott. And fortunately for us, we have amazing scholars like the phenomenal Feminista Jones, who I look to when it comes to needing information and insight about how we can move forward. Oh my goodness, I see that there is a visitor who has just passed by. Karen Hunter is walking through the halls at Sirius XM. I didn't know she was going to be in today. Oh, my day just got better. I love her so much. Anyway, I want you all to take a listen to this video clip. This is Feminista Jones, a sister who I have known for damn near 20 years. I think she is brilliant. She is brilliant. Whether I think she's brilliant or not, she is a brilliant Black woman, and I love what she does in this video to really inform a lot of us about what Claudette Colvin did, how she contributed, and I think it's really important that we understand, because the 92% been new. Always have. Let's take a listen.
Okay, so this is going to be a hard one to make, but I have to make it because there's going to be a lot of talk around this, and there's a couple of narratives that are incorrect, and I want to make sure that people have full information. Activist Claudette Colvin just passed away. This is the first time you're hearing her name. I'll get to why she's important. In 1944, a Black woman named Reese Taylor was violently sexually assaulted by white men. At the time that people weren't really trying to do anything about it, but the NAACP decided to send their best investigator, somebody who was focused on sexual assaults of women and things like that. She'd already been known in feminist circles, the women's movements, things like that, so they sent her. Her name was Rosa Parks. Okay, I have to give you this context, because remember I said 1944, okay? Fast forward, about a decade later, a young man, Emmett Till, is murdered. And this is what's considered as the launch of the civil rights movement. Rosa Parks is in the South, and she is working with the NAACP She's an investigator. She's an activist. She's trained. She knows what she's doing. She and several others attempted to spark a movement by refusing to get up when they were riding segregated buses, okay? Not just Rosa Parks, but also Claudette Colvin, a young teenager who had been mentored by Rosa Parks and others, was involved with the NAACP youth groups and things like that. Now, when she was picked up, she said that she had Sojourner Truth on one shoulder and Harriet Tubman on another. She was young. She was precocious. She had a lot of fire, a lot of energy, right? She wasn't the only one. There were others, right, that had done this and were facing, these kinds of legal challenges and things like that. When Rosa Parks was picked up, it wasn't the first time she had tried to start something, okay? So we have a history. These are people who know what they're doing. Rosa Parks eventually was, and that was a linchpin, is that how you say it? For the Montgomery bus boycott, right, which would go on to last a little over a year. Now, during that time, Claudette Colvin was a part of a group of young girls and who had also been kind of popped for this. The case was Browder v. Gale, okay? She was one of the plaintiffs in that. That is the case that ended and desegregated. It ended the bus boycott because it desegregated the public transportation, okay? Claudette Colvin was a part of that. She was working with that the whole time. She was, again, mentored by Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks welcomed her into her home, okay? She was not pregnant when she was arrested, right? People will say, oh, it's because she was dark-skinned and she was pregnant and that's why they didn't push her forward. That's not true. If you listen to the narratives, it was because she wasn't trying to comply with what they were asking her to do. She wasn't showing up to some meetings. Again, she's a teenager, right? She wasn't trying to be forced to do those kinds of things. And so she kind of became a little bit unreliable. What do you expect teenagers to do? So, but eventually she is one of the plaintiffs in Browder v. Gale. So she saw the whole thing through to the end, right? Rosa Parks was not a part of that case. A lot of people think that Rosa Parks is the reason that the buses were desegregated. That's not entirely true, okay? So I think this is important to talk about because Claudette Colvin did do this before Rosa Parks did. She was one of many, okay? This was a concerted effort, and I think it's really important to teach this because it shows that our people have been fighting. This stuff that we've experienced isn't just happenstance. Rosa Parks didn't just happen to be some old lady who was tired and didn't want to get up. She was 42 years old. Guys, I'm 46. She was not that old. This was intentional, as was with all these other people who were making the same efforts. So we have to give them credit for the work that they were doing. And we should honor Claudette Colvin as one of those people who fought the system and wanted to bring about change and did bring change by being part of the case that ended the segregation in the buses. So I want to say, rest well, ancestor. You're an inspiration for many. Shout out to holding it down in the Bronx. We love you. We love you from the Bronx. This is not a good day. I'm smiling, I know, because I'm remembering and honoring her legacy. But yeah, this is tough, y'all. All right.
This is tough, y'all. This is, as she says there. I encourage all of you to follow Feminista Jones on all the platforms. I've known her for years and just think the world of her. And when we talk about the fact that the 92% been new, we done always knew what we talking about. We really, really do. And as reported by one of my favorite media outlets, which you all should also be reading and supporting, Capital B News, in an article entitled "Claudette Colvin, whose defiance helped end bus segregation, dies at 86." They note that, as was reported by Feminista Jones, nearly 10 months before Rosa nearly 10 months before Rosa Parks' famous act of defiance, a 15-year-old girl, Claudette Colvin, had already refused to surrender her seat on a segregated bus on March the 2nd, 1955. The police were called. Again, she's in high school. There were other high school students who were there with her. They had gotten up, but she says, quote, "History had me glued to the seat. I remember they dragged me off the bus because I refused to walk. They handcuffed me and took me to an adult jail." And again, she did make her transition to the ancestral realm yesterday at the age of 1986, and she is often considered one of the greatest unsung heroes of the Black freedom struggle, despite the fact that she played a significant role in this movement. And without her, we do not actually have the legal desegregation of buses in the way that we received it. Following her arrest, according to Capital B News, we are reminded that she became one of the plaintiffs, as was said also by Feminista Jones, in Browder v. Gale, which is a landmark 1956 Supreme Court decision that declared segregation on public transportation unconstitutional. Colvin was quoted as saying to CNN in 2021 that Rosa Parks' image, quote, would be more acceptable to the white community than a dark-complexioned teenager, and they figured they could control Ms. Parks. And so that, again, speaks to some of the conversations that were being held about Claudette, because she's 15 years old. She got her own ideas about what freedom looked like and what she's willing to do, and she was not going to be the compliant 42-year-old that the compliant 42-year-old was. Not to say there's anything wrong with those of us in our 40s. I'm just saying these young people is one of the reasons why we look to young people to be leaders in these movements, because they are so unwilling to be bound up by a lot of the rules that more of us who are a little bit older end up navigating. And so there also was some concerns about Claudette coming from a family that, quote, lived in a little shack. And yes, she did become pregnant in the months following this situation, but it's just so important that we understand exactly who she was and correct the record and misinterpretations. And I told Feminista, I learned a lot from listening to this video, and I thought I knew a lot of things about Claudette Colvin. So may she rest well, may she rest powerfully, and may her example continue to guide those of us, yes, in the 92%, but really, quite frankly, all of you who should be following our lead, because we know what the hell we're talking about. Let's move on to some other conversations. Let's talk about ICE, baby. And we have talked extensively about ICE because we know that they had this $100 million campaign where they were recruiting people. And according to Newsweek, it looks like that recruiting campaign has been pretty successful. Approximately 12,000 ICE agents were hired, according again to Newsweek, as a result of this campaign that has been rolled out. And remember, the campaign was a hyper-targeted geofencing campaign, and it is continually in operation, where they are basically looking to get all the white nationalists, all the people who have white nationalist tendencies, the people who play certain video games, the people who participate in certain clubs like the NRA and other sort of white-leaning, right-wing sorts of groups. And it's basically been pretty successful. They've got these 12,000 new agents after this nationwide recruitment campaign, and they're excited about it. Now, them agents only going to get, 47 days of training, because they no longer get the 5 to 6 months. They get 47 days because it's the 47th president, and we live in a stupid world. And this matters because, frankly, they are going to be unleashed. But they should know that before they start showing their entire asses, they should just know that there might be some consequences, like the fact that yesterday we learned that 4,500 ICE and Border Patrol employees, including nearly 2,000 agents who are working in frontline enforcement, all their information was released by a Department of Homeland Security whistleblower. Shout out to the whistleblowers. Hallelujah. I want you all to take a listen to this video clip. This is a clip that is shared by traveling nurse Lex, and she's talking here about this release of information. And YouTube, I thought I was sharing my screen earlier with the clip. I realized I wasn't halfway through it. But you'll get to see this clip in its entirety, and you'll get to hear all of these clips and the ones I can't even get to in the podcast, which will be out later on today. That's Lurie Breaks It Down. Take a listen to this video that explains what happened with the ICE baby data leak. Let's hear it.
It's happening. A DHS whistleblower has literally leaked thousands of ICE agents' identities to the public. Earlier today, the Department of Homeland Security experienced what they are calling the single largest data breach that they have ever had. Allegedly, this all happened internally, meaning a DHS employee leaked 4,500 names, full names and identities of both ICE agents and Border Patrol agents. All of these names were leaked to the ICE list. The website is icelist.is. And I personally have taken a trip to that website 1 or 2 times. Dominic Skinner is the founder of ICE List, and he told the Daily Mail that he has had neighbors turning in neighbors, hotel staff turning in ICE agents that were staying at their hotels, kids turning in their fucking fathers. Anyone who's ever talked shit about Gen Alpha, I need y'all to sit the fuck down and listen up, because these kids are not playing around. Not playing around reporting old daddy-o to the fucking ICE List. The first batch of these names is set to be released on the ICE List website tonight. And I will be enjoying a nice crisp glass of non-alcoholic wine and some cheese and crackers and browsing, because You guys, we are so set for the ICE Agent of the Day series.
Ooh.
So set.
ICE Agent of the Day series. I hope those 12,000 new ICE agents are ready to have their information blasted everywhere, because personally, and this is just me, I don't believe if you work for the slave catchers, I don't believe you should have no other job ever. I don't believe you should be employable. I don't believe you should be fuckable. I don't believe that anybody should lay their body next to you. And if you are a woman with a person with lady parts and you are laying down with an ICE agent of any gender, of any orientation, I'm just going to say, why are you going to lay down with somebody who would not use their legal authority to defend the body that you laying down them next to? I'm just saying. But yeah, January 7th, that killing of Renee Good has shifted some things. And Jonathan Ross, who we now know, got a whole lot of information about him. We'll share that another time. Basically, it has shifted enough that people are like, we're not doing this with y'all. We're not doing this business as usual. The alleged leak to ICE List, that's ICELIST. So ICE, the agency, the word list, like we're making a list of all the slave catchers so we can know who to avoid, .is. This is an accountability initiative that is believed to be the largest ever breach of DHS staff data, and this is all being reported by the Daily Beast, in addition to a number of other outlets. As you hear there, the founder of the ICEList.is is Dominic Skinner, and he basically says that this is a sign that people are not happy, even within the U.S. government, and the shooting of Good was the last straw for many people. Now, according to Mr. Skinner, who leads this website, which is not within the confines of American jurisdiction because it is hosted in the Netherlands. He lives in the Netherlands. He is from Iceland, and basically he, from what we understand, posted the initial names last night. I didn't get a chance to look at it because I was out with my sorors. Shout out to the sorors celebrating Founders Day. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but trust and believe I will be having some alcoholic wine. She does non-alcoholic, that's fine. I'm going to have some alcoholic wine as I peruse it, because I just think we should know who you are, and we should have ICE member of the day. I'm excited about this, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to do with this. But Mr. Skinner has said he has had, as she said there, kids turning in their parents and a whole bunch of other people, including hotel staff. If you are a hotel person and you are staying at a hotel, or you are working at a hotel where you know ICE is staying, apparently some of your colleagues are sending Post-it notes, including names, faces, information to ICE List. You've got bar staff who are sending DHS IDs, and a whole bunch of people saying that their neighbor is an agent. Now, I'm excited about this, and I talk more extensively about it in the podcast, but the most important thing for us to know is that this is outside the confines of American jurisdiction. Which means, remember how a couple of weeks ago, not even a couple of weeks ago, my God, time is a flat circle. Was it last week that America kidnapped the president of Venezuela? Within the past month, when the Americans kidnapped the president of Venezuela and they brought him to Brooklyn, like right down the street, and they were basically like, well, he was indicted by the American courts, and so we're going to bring him here. America does not have legal jurisdiction to do any of that stuff. Now, if Nicolas Maduro had come to the United States of America, then they could have definitely placed him under arrest because he would have been within the geographic realm of the jurisdiction of this country. You don't have jurisdiction over Venezuela. That's why they had to kidnap him and bring him here. Again, had to kidnap him is doing a lot of work in this moment, but whatever. But you can't, what you going to do? You're going to go to Iceland? You're going to go to the Netherlands and get this man's website? So I'm excited about this. And again, that list is ICEList.is. Check it out. See if your friends or neighbors did. I've seen a whole lot more melanated people in the slave catching ICE patrols. We need to find out who you are too. You should also be unemployable and unfuckable going forward. I'm just saying. Fortunately, I ain't got to fuck none of y'all because I got my, let me, you know what? See, I was about to be very snarky and very rude and do something. I was about to say some things that don't need to be said out loud. These are the thoughts that should just stay in my head. We're going to move on before I get myself in this channel in a little bit of trouble. But the reason this matters, the reason that this matters, or one of the many reasons that this matters, is because resistance has to elevate. Resistance has to come in so many forms, and it is coming in so many forms. And it's important because we have white people who are now not just being shot in the face and killed, but we have white people who are also being detained. And when they come out and tell their story in their very white people voices and talk about their white people experiences, it is changing some things. And I just want to be clear to all of my FBA, ADOS people, the B1 people who said that black people ain't got nothing to worry about, because if you're a black American, I know y'all don't include me in that group because I'm half black American, half black Jamaican. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but whatever. Y'all always said that like we as black people don't need to vote for that lady because she don't really care about black people. Y'all played that 3-second clip about her saying she can't do nothing for black people. You ignored the fact that she was saying that if she did something specifically for black people, explicitly, that it would get struck down by the courts because y'all think we stupid, but we know we not stupid, although we wasn't smart enough to do away with your disinformation campaigns. A lot of y'all have said Not all of y'all, but the ones of y'all who are not good players in the sandbox, y'all said things like, well, we ain't got to worry about it. We got a lineage claim. We got a justice claim. I can trace my family back to the plantations. They don't give a fuck about you, your plantation, or other than to figure out how to get you back on it. And if they're arresting white people and shooting white women in the face, they will come for you and they will take your justice claim. They will take your freedom papers and do exactly what your ancestors had done to them when they were waving freedom papers in the face of a slave catcher. They'll snatch them freedom papers. They couldn't even read the freedom papers that them slave catchers were catching because a whole lot more. You had a whole lot of enslaved black people running away who were fully literate or far more literate than the slave catchers who were coming after them, who could not read, who would take them freedom papers and burn them in front of their face before they began lynching and attacking and re-enslaving our ancestors. So I'm just going to be saying, y'all ain't as safe as you think you is. And I'm saying y'all because you not like us. But I want y'all to take a listen to this clip. This is this white couple, a husband and wife, who were American citizens, who were kidnapped in Minnesota, and listen to their experience and think about what the resistance has to look like. Let's take a listen.
This is a married couple named Patty and Brandon.
The ICE agent that had pepper sprayed into the vents of my car said, "You guys got to stop obstructing us. That's why that lesbian bitch is dead."
At one point during my detention, I was offered money or legal protection for any undocumented family members which I don't have, or in exchange for the names of undocumented persons or in exchange for the name of protest organizers.
These two American citizens, a married husband and wife, have an insane story that they just shared with the KARE 11 YouTube channel.
We were following behind two ICE vehicles. ICE agents got out of the cars. They pepper spray into the vent of my car. And after that, proceeded to come back, break our windows, take us out of the car, and arrest us. They put us into two separate cars. They immediately started taunting me, making fun of me, taking pictures of me, calling me ugly, all around just trying to kind of like humiliate me. And then about 2 minutes into our ride, the driver, the ICE agent that had pepper sprayed into the vents of my car said, "You guys got to stop obstructing us. That's why that lesbian bitch is dead." He was referring to Renee Good.
I'm about to play another clip from this extraordinary interview. And to me, this clip really exemplifies the banality of evil that we've seen throughout history. In Nazi Germany, we've seen it in genocidal regimes around the world, and we are seeing it right now here in the United States of America.
From the holding cell that I was in, I heard like just wailing, like desperate crying from a room full of women. I heard a child screaming, like hearing like the visceral pain of the people that were in that facility juxtaposed with the small talk and the laughter from the agents and from all of the people that were the employees that are part of this operation and making this happen, right, from all of these different federal agencies. We could hear folks talking outside our doors about asking how their families were. Just lots of laughter.
This story is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and I need to make a correction. I'm seeing in the caption here that they were not husband and wife. They were friends. And that was a video shared by Chris James, pulling from an interview that took place on @Care11. That's Care spelled with a K. So we got to be clear about what's happening and how significant this is, because quite frankly, we are also in a time where our resistance to this sort of thing is going to have to increase. And there are a lot of ways that we can resist even better. There are tons of ways. And quite frankly, half of them not half of them, a lot of them don't require you to get up off your damn couch. I'm going to talk now about the 5 Calls app. I love the 5 Calls app. I think everybody should know about the 5 Calls app. And it is an app that you literally download. I'm opening it up for you now. You can see it on my screen. It's called 5 Calls. And, well, you can see it when I just flashed it. But the 5 Calls app is amazing because this app not only can help you pinpoint who your elected officials are. And it does that by letting you enter in your zip code, and it can tell you who your senators are, who your House representative member, congressional representative is. And you can essentially go through the list of things that are listed here. And it's got a whole bunch of issues that you can advocate around. And it gives you, let's see, we're going to go through, let me look at the list. Ban elected officials from trading individual stocks, support fiscal year 2024 and assistance fund, all sorts of issues, restore federal funding for public broadcasting, protect Medicare from cuts, a whole host of issues issues, and this is under the anti-corruption label. So there's a whole bunch of different labels, and you can find your list that matters to you, and then it gives you a bit of information about that particular topic. So maybe you know enough about the topic to have a conversation with your elected official. Maybe you don't. They give you snapshots of information so that you know what the topic is. You might feel passionately about it, but you want a little bit more details, and then it directly connects you via phone. You can hit the button. It will connect you to the office of your elected official, and it gives you a script. It makes it so fucking easy. There is no reason that you cannot, from the comfort of your couch. And for all of us who are staying home, because we are the global majority, and we understand that if we were out in them streets, we would have been had Renee Goods. We would have been more like Keith Porter. We know that these sorts of things are important. So I want you all to download the 5 Calls app. And I know there's a lot of people who believe that calling your elected officials is not necessarily the best thing. It's not necessarily something that's going to really move the needle. There are such razor thin majorities in Congress right now, in the House and in the Senate, that actually this is a really good time to see just how significant calling your elected official could be. But you ain't got to listen to me. I'm a black woman. What do I know? I know all the things. I know the things that are relative to this topic. But I know that sometimes because I present the way that I present, and because we have people like, there was this YouTube commenter who was like, she went 14 minutes before she said the word slave. Good job. You're always talking about slavery, this, that, and the other. I had to hide him from the channel. Y'all not even going to find the comment. But I thought it was so funny that in a country built on slavery and genociding indigenous people, I'm surprised it took me that long to get to the word enslavement. We should be talking about that all day, every day. And it's only the white people who are upset about this history and don't want us to know it that make those sorts of comments. But it is important that you know how your advocacy can make a difference. I can't remember what the connecting thought between those two. Congress, yes. Okay, so thank you, Amina. I want you all to watch this video. This is Ben Sheehan, a white. He's a white, so, he should be presumptively believable in the context of a society still governed by white supremacy. Take a listen to what he says about the power of calling your elected officials. Let's take a listen.
When it comes to ICE or any issue, does calling your members of Congress actually work? My name is Ben Sheehan. I'm the host of PBS's new show, Civics Made Easy, and I also wrote these books on the Constitution that help make it easier to understand. Okay, to start, every year Congress passes 12 appropriations bills to fund the government, and one of those bills funds the Department of Homeland Security, which has ICE. And the deadline to pass that bill is January 30th. If it doesn't pass by then, that part of the government shuts down. And right now, Republicans have 53 votes in the Senate, but they need 60 to stop a filibuster, which means 7 Democrats have the power to withhold their vote and force changes to ICE or not vote with the Republicans, and that part of the government shuts down. What about the House? Republicans can only afford to lose 2 votes. And on top of that, we've just seen Republicans buck their own party this year. 5 Republicans in the Senate voted with Democrats recently to require the president to get congressional authorization before any further action in Venezuela. And in the House, 17 Republicans just voted with the Democrats to extend ACA subsidies for healthcare for 3 years. One of the Republicans who voted to extend ACA subsidies said it was because of his constituents. So between the fact that 2026 is an election year for members of Congress, the fact that there's an upcoming funding deadline for DHS, which houses ICE, between the fact that there are very slim majorities for Republicans in both houses of Congress, and the fact that we just saw Republicans buck their own party in the House and the Senate, I can tell you that calling works. Now, when you call members of Congress, it has to be your own members. Otherwise, it doesn't get tallied. They write down the names and the zip codes of the people who called, and they also note the tone of voice of the people calling. They use phone calls specifically to measure how their constituents feel. And just to be clear, calling reps is easy. I will do it right now. Hi, Senator Schiff. My name is Ben Sheehan. I am a California resident.
Office of Senator Padilla, how can I help you?
Office of Congresswoman Judy Chu.
She's in favor of either decreasing or completely defunding ICE.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, above all, members want to get reelected, and they rely on you to do that. For more, follow me, Ben Sheehan, and The Contrarian on Substack and social media.
So it matters, and it matters because there's not a whole lot that we have in our toolkit, but there's way more that we have in our toolkits than a lot of us realize. And one of the things, we're not going to get a chance to play this video by Heather Cox Richardson right now, but she, in the podcast, you guys will be able to hear her later on today, she talks about the fact that ICE right now is signaling the fear that they have. They have flooded the zone in Minnesota. People in Minnesota, chef's kiss to you. Those of you in Minneapolis who are resisting, they have flooded the zone with increased ICE members, and they have had to pull them from other locations because the 12,000 I was going to make a combination between neos and noobs and newbies, whatever. The 12,000 new people that they got ain't trained yet. They're not in the field yet. And so they have flooded the zone in Minneapolis. And the people in Minneapolis said, we don't give a good goddamn. We're going to take this Minnesota nice and show you just how nice we can be, ICE. And they are insisting on flooding into the streets. They have been protesting on a regular basis, and they're elevating their protests in a real educational moment for the rest of us. And I'm so proud of them. And I'm so glad for what they are doing. And I want to share with you this clip from this sister who is a part of the 92%. And this is shared by an Instagram account called The General Strike US, The General Strike US, because now Minneapolis, Minnesota is calling for a general strike. Now, we saw Mayor Brandon Johnson out of Chicago. He said it was before Kwanzaa, where he was saying we need to have a general strike. I think he said this at the last No Kings protest. But I want you all to take a listen to what this sister says about the ability to show up. And I also want to say that issue that Ben Sheehan mentioned in that clip, where he was talking about the fact that Congress has to agree on a budget for ICE. There are a number of Democrats, including Cory Booker, including Hakeem Jeffries, including Chuck Schumer, who have said that they are not willing to use the negotiations over the budget to defund ICE or to rein ICE in. I say a big what the fuck are you thinking? And two of them are my representatives, Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. So I'm calling their offices today to find out why it is that they have said that they are not willing to use the budget negotiations to rein in ICE. You have the ability to stop slave catchers, dog. What are you doing? So I'm going to be calling my elected officials. I want you all to do the same as well. And Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, all the rest of you who have decided you're not going to use your power and authority to stop slave catchers from slave catching. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? And this is why this call for a general strike coming out of Minneapolis is so very significant. Take a listen to this sister who's a part of the 92%, making it plain as to what we're facing right now. Take a listen.
We are not going to shop. We are not going to work. We are not going to school on Friday, January 23rd. And so for some people, they call that a strike. For many of us, we say that this is our right to refusal until something changes. We're doing it with unions, like the St. Paul Federation of Educators, Unite Here, Local 17, SEIU, Local 26, our ATU, our transit union here in Minnesota, and many, many more unions are gathering. We are asking every single person, every family member, every teacher, every bus driver, every child care worker, to come together, to be in community, to stand with one another. That's exactly what Renee Good was doing, standing up for her neighbor. Her whistleblowing was returned by bullets. We cannot let that stand. Minnesota will not continue to be a testing ground for the kind of fear and violence that is expected for the rest of this country. We will not allow that to happen. There are lies being spewed about our neighbors here to give an excuse to try to validate why we have thousands of mass officers here harming our people and harming us, taking citizens from where they work, beating people up and dropping them off at random locations. This is not rumor. We are seeing it with our own eyes every single day. And so now is the time. If you ever wondered for yourself, when is the time that we do something different? When is the time that we stand up and say that this has to change, that this needs to end? The time is now.
The time is now. And General Strike US has a lot of good information on their website for those of you who are thinking about how you can participate. GeneralStrikeUS.com is the website, and they have a wonderful frequently asked questions. So those of you who are curious about this, you want to know about this, you can find out. No lack of information should not be a limitation here. In their About Us section, they say that, quote, "We voted, we protested, and still they ignore us. Our government refuses to meet our basic needs while the billionaire class hoards wealth and power. The General Strike is a decentralized network of regular people who know our greatest power is our labor and our right to refuse it. We aim to unite every person and organization fighting for racial, economic, and environmental justice so that together we can see a real change in our lifetimes." And if you scroll down to their FAQs, you can find out who the leadership structure is. You can find out about your data. If you are going to submit data to this site to get more information, to sign up on their listserv, they've got information about when the strike is taking place. And this is not just a strike specific to Minneapolis, or this is not, should I say, a website specific to what's happening in Minneapolis. Minneapolis is calling for this action for the 23rd of January, but this is really a space where they are encouraging the use of general strike regardless, right? And we know that we've seen general strikes in a variety of spaces. Panama had one for a couple of weeks. France always has one because anytime you come in for France's social safety net, them French gonna let you know. And so it's information there. What can happen with your job if you're striking? Are you protected? If you're not working, can you participate in the strike? And yes, you can. There are a variety of ways that people who are, even if you're retired or unemployed, a variety of ways that you can support. So go to generalstrikeus.com and find out what you can do, because it's going to take all of us. And I'm excited about this because it feels like we're finally stepping into the moment where we realize business as usual ain't gonna happen. I mean, we've known it, but our response has sort of been, well, they should be doing what's right. They should be following the law. And when I say our response, I mean y'all's response, because the 92% and the 80%, we've been at home, minding our black ass business, doing our organizing from inside. And we're going to continue to do that, which is why general strikes is something that I'm really excited about, because we can participate in that. That we can do. We can participate and not buy. We can participate and not support. And we can participate by staying home. And that's an important thing, particularly for those of us who have made some decisions about how we're going to engage. So we're going to hold it here. Remember to please subscribe, like, and share this video to guide the algorithms for those of you watching on YouTube. And make sure that you go to my website, LurieDanielFavors.com, to sign up for my listserv so that you can get notification and be a part of the first group who will be able to submit your request to join my online community, which will be opening up in February. YouTube, we appreciate you. Urban View, 866-801-8255. 866-801-TALK is the number. What are your thoughts on a general strike? Do you think this is something that should be expanding? Could you see how you might be able to participate and engage in something like this? Let us know. Give us a call, 866-801-8255.